Mr. Friedman. Mr. Metzer? Right, that way.
Thank you, my lady. Sir Christoph, I asked just a few questions on two topics on behalf of the long COVID groups. Were you aware that the Prime Minister wasn't convinced that long COVID truly existed in 2020 and for a large part of 2021?
I was aware of that.
Why didn't you, as Chief Medical Officer, disabuse the Prime Minister of his belief that long COVID was bollocks in October 2020 when there were discussions about the need for a second lockdown?
Well, the particular document with a handwritten note was not one I was privy to until it was published by the inquiry, so to be clear. The answer is, if I thought that there was an overriding need for the Prime Minister himself or herself, were it to be a different Prime Minister, to know about this because it was going to make a big difference to people with long COVID, that would have been a very material point. And I did, as you know, in 2021, actually address issues of long COVID directly with the Prime Minister. However, at this point, at the earlier points, my view was there were large numbers of things we needed to do for those living with long COVID who might have long COVID in due course because of infection, to do with research, which I launched multiple strands of research and analyses during 2020, and also NHS activity. None of these, in my view, required the Prime Minister to have a view on it one way or the other. We could just get on with it. So these weren't things where the views of the Prime Minister, in a sense, and I don't mean this in a negative sense, I'm just stating this factually, were relevant one way or the other. We could just do the things we needed to do. Once I got to a point where it was clear this might be a material issue for decisions the Prime Minister himself could take, that seemed the point where his private office said to me, look, could we have this discussion? And I think you have the correspondence on this. I thought about it, how we best do it, and we agreed on an approach to it.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that in a moment, but you accept that the evidence of long COVID was not in any way uncertain by that time in October 2020?
I do.
Thank you.